house, stole his sheep, stole everything. David comes and sits down in the ashes of what he thought was going to be some solitude. When he thought finally he could get a little bit of rest, he's been through all kinds of struggles, all kinds of pain. Did you ever get to the place where even the people that were nearest to you, hey, isn't it amazing? They're always wanting to kill the preacher. David's the one that got the thug out of jail. David's the one that got the man up out of prison. David's the one that fed him when he was hungry. David's the one that paid his bills, signed a note for him, did all of this. Isn't it amazing when you get in pain what you do? Now, David, the man who had given them a little light and hope, is now the target of their criticism and of their anger and of their grief. And they say, let's kill David. Now, David has lost, it's the last straw. He's lost his city, he's lost his wives, and now his men, the only thing he had left, are threatening to stone him to death. This is where character is really exposed. You never show character in a faith line somewhere. You never show character when you're dancing when everything's high. Character is never witnessed at its highest moral peak. When you have the blessing of God and you say, oh, God is so good to me, I'm so happy. It's when everything that can go wrong does go. You invented Murphy's Law. Anything that can happen, it's done happened to you. Can't nothing else happen. We've been there, Gary. I've been there where it could nothing else happen. It wasn't all everybody else's fault either. Some of it was my fault. A bunch of it was my fault. I couldn't help it. I was just there. I don't know why. Born out of time, born out of season. I don't know why. But I know that it hurts when everything you thought you had is gone. And everything you ever loved is sour. And all. Did you ever just sit and say, I could have been an attorney? God. I mean, I can drive a truck, my God. I can crunch them gears. I don't have to be here. I mean, I gave up a profession to come in here and just work at the church. Lord God, now look. Gee. I mean, there can't nothing else happen, can it? Oh, yeah, it can. Yeah. Trust me. Something else can happen. Oh. I mean, Eliab ought to go up and kiss his ring and say, David, I thank you that your head caught all that oil. Shammah ought to run up and hug him and say, oh, brother, I want to thank you for stepping in front of me when I was about to get anointed. God chose you. Woo! Hey, I mean, David has been through it. I mean, there's nobody going to play the piano for him now. He's sitting in the ashes of what was the last hope he had. It wasn't even given to him by his brethren. It was given to him by an enemy. His brethren won't even speak to him. And now this is gone. My God. I mean, I don't know. I didn't ask for this. If I could just go back. Oh, God. If I could go back 15 years. I'd never have left that stream. I'd still be wading in it. I mean, oh, Lord God. I mean, that old rock where I sat one day and said, he's a shelter. It was just after that hard rain, a little hail mixed in it, when the sky was rosy and green. He had the sheep all gathered up in just a little cleft of the rock, and he was hid up under a big old side of one of those Judean hills, and he said, oh, there's no rock like our God. He's a shelter in the time of storm. He's a strong tower that I can run into. I'd never leave it. I'd stay there where there are still waters, where there are green pastures. I would have written more songs. I would have enjoyed more services. I would have. Yeah, but it's too late now. It's too late now. You're too far into this thing now. You've tasted too many things. You've been through too much. And now for you to stop would be so wrong. But you think you can't go another step. You can't take another situation. You don't want to open the mail. You're scared to answer the telephone. Somebody in here knows what I'm talking about. If you do, say yes. And David just finally had to encourage himself. This is where character is, when he says, hey, I've chased, I've run, I've hid, I've dived, I've dove, I've done it all, but bring me somebody who can worship. Get me a priest. If you can't dance, then come put some shoes on my bleeding feet. Bring me an ephod. I'm not looking for a priest. You don't have to tell me nothing. I'm not looking for a word from you. I don't need another word. Just bring me the garments. I'll put them on myself. I'll wear them myself. You don't have to sing no songs for me. You don't have to build me up for my sermon. Just bring me a priest ephod. Let me touch those stones. Set them down here. Get away from me. Ah! Oh, God. He could have just as easily said, get me out of this. I don't want to be anointed. I want to be the unanointed. I'm tired of this. I've had it. He said, I want to know one thing, God. Do you want me to get up out of these ashes? Do you want me to pursue? Wait a minute. This man is a total idiot. You could just so easily sit there in the dust of your paradox and in the ashes of your loss. And David says, shall I pursue? He doesn't have one man. They've all threatened to kill him. He doesn't have an army. He doesn't have a city. He doesn't have a sword. He ain't got a wife. He don't have a kingdom. He ain't got nothing but just sticky hair. And he rises up out of that stuff. I mean, it would have been easy to say, God, you anointed me. I know it was you. You shouldn't let this happen. He didn't do that. He just said, do I just pick up here and go on? Do I pursue? And just tell me, do I overtake him? I mean, he was satisfied to chase him even if he knew he couldn't catch him. It didn't matter if he could catch him. He just wanted to know if God wanted him to chase him. See, sometimes it doesn't matter what you get out of this thing. It's just, what do you want me to do now? Tell me where I go now. It's from dot to dot and from dot to dot. And the fact is, the artist knew what the picture looked like. You only know where the next dot is. You just got to go to the next dot and then up to the next dot. It's only after 15 years of going from one tragedy to another that you look down and say, oh, that's the picture. God said, pursue. Then he said something else I've come to preach to you tonight. He said, you will without fail. Come on, somebody say without fail. Without fail. You will without fail recover all. Hey! Y'all ready to go? I mean, they've been going for 14 and a half years. Y'all ready to go? Been thinking about quitting this and doing something else? No, I don't think so. Here we go now. Where we going? I don't know. Who we chasing? I don't know that either. Whoever it was that come here and did this to us, that's who we going after. Where are they? I don't know. What are you going to do? Pursue. Which way did we go? I don't know. See if you can find something somewhere. Just one little clue, one little hint, one little old scrawny leftover guy. Been thrown out here, don't amount to nothing. Sometimes the greatest word I ever got from God was from some Egyptians, some Amalekites, folks that everybody else wouldn't let in their church. And they're so broken, and they're so crushed, and they're so hurt. They'll say, I'll tell you everything if you just won't turn me back over to that thing I've been in. You ever seen any of those kind of people? The world's full of them right now. The charismata has given us millions of them. No foundation, no structural teaching, a message that